Mr. DJ Rose, Verkeezy, and C's. Welcome you to the No More Black Tears podcast.
Black tears that's heaven sent. Barack the first black president. I love my black skin. I love walking in black excellence. Black power, let's represent. All black, that's evident. I'm sure MLK and Malcolm X both didn't die for the hell of it. Strap a seatbelt, go and settle land. What makes you think that we would sell our land? We wouldn't sell out now. What makes you think that we would go ahead and try to sell out then? No more black tears, black on black kids. Love us as is, love with passion. Paying black bills, learning black skills, making black meals. Black is backing. Big shout out to Fred Hampton. I'm black and proud like I'm James Brown, but I ain't doing no acting. My people here from the motherland. This podcast now active.
No More Black Tears. We're back at it, you know what I'm saying? Another Friday, another day, another dollar. We in here, you know what I'm saying? Verteez is in here with me. It's Mr. DJ Rose. You know what I'm saying? It all happened in the week.
So this week in sports, we're going to start off in the WNBA. You know, last episode we talked about the WNBA draft, where we wanted some players to go, what we thought might happen. And, you know, it's official. It's in the books. AZ Fudd went number 1 overall. What thoughts do you have from the WNBA draft? Are there any moves that surprised you? And are there any teams that you feel like really strengthened themselves with the picks they made?
Man, I don't think so. None of them that really strengthened themselves. It's like, because it's still women basketball. So it's like, unless you got the best player, you know what I'm saying, it's still going to be the best player that's going to win. You know what I'm saying? So it's still women's basketball. But I was shocked that that Fudd went number 1. I was shocked by that. And then, because I
was too, until the day before when my brother TTK told me that AZ and Paige dated. When he told me that, I was like, it's a wrap.
And I didn't know that either until the day of the draft. And I'm like, hold on now. I was like, they were scissoring partners?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they kept. I know I guess Paige announced it last year, but I don't pay attention to her like that. You know what I'm saying? She was a rookie, you know what I'm saying? But she announced it last year. But
they came out subtly, like they did their little thing, but they didn't overtly put their relationship, you know, out there like that.
According to some people, Paige said it.
No, Paige said it, but like how some of these couples always bragging about it and always posting about it, they let it be known, hey, we in a relationship together, we've been in a relationship together, and after that, they didn't talk about it no more.
Yeah. So, and then it's also surprised me that, didn't they go to high school together too?
I think they started at AAU, then they went to high school, and then of course college, and now they playing pros.
Yeah, so that was kind of after listening to everybody talk about it, it kind of weirded me out because the WNBA the only place you can do that. Yeah, and they were right. Yeah, that's the only place in professional sports that you can go get away with this. But it is what it is. Because I think the best person in this draft.
So let me ask you a question before we move on to the rest of your thoughts about it. Because, you know, there's been a lot of talk about their relationship. Since we're talking about their relationship, and Michael Strahan was on Good Morning America with AZ Fudd, and you know, he almost slipped up saying your girlfriend Paige, but he said your former teammate. Do you feel like the reporters should be able to ask them about their relationship? Should they be able to talk about that? Or because of the fact they don't want to talk about it, should everyone be like, it has nothing to do with basketball?
Well, I remember the last time I checked, the best male basketball player in the world, they always ask about his girlfriend.
Okay.
And she's one of the best basketball players in that league. They always ask her about her boyfriend. So the two best basketball players in the NBA and WNBA, they ask them about their relationship all the time.
You're right, man. And man, when Steph was cooking the other night, that nigga had 15 in the first, and he said, man, I get 83.
Who's 83?
Bam, it's 83.
You better act like you know.
So what were you saying, Rose?
So I felt like Miles was the best person in the draft, but I didn't think Dallas.
You saw that fish you wore?
Yeah, I saw it.
The only one who had to look like a bull dagger.
Yeah.
And all the other hoes, even the gay one said, let's dress up and look pretty. She said, fuck that shit. And then she wore a baggy suit. Yeah. Not even, because Paige wore a suit last year, but the suit was respectable. She wore that baggy suit that Melo had in 04.
So, but I thought she was the best person in the draft, and I didn't think they were gonna take a guard, but they ended up taking Fudd for we know the reasons why. But she got drafted number 2, so that was I expected her to go first, but I thought maybe they would probably take a big person first. You know, say either Fam or Betts. But I think that's pretty much all I got to say about the draft. But what's your thoughts on it?
I'll say this: Miles going number 2 to the Storm. My bad, to the Lynx. I thought it was a really good move for them because they needed a point guard, a traditional point guard like Olivia Miles, because they got Courtney Williams and the rest of the backcourt mates are really scorers. And then Fisher College just re-signed, so that's gonna be really good for them. I was really happy that Raven Johnson went to the Fever.
Yeah.
And I told TTK, I said, man, that's really good for her because I ain't gonna lie, there was a couple teams she was projected to go to. I don't know if she would have made a roster because I don't think she's extremely talented in terms of the offensive part of her game. But what the Fever's gonna need her for defensively, I feel like she's gonna make that roster just based off of that. In fact, I think she'll crack that starting lineup because I feel like she's the type of player that needs to be in the backcourt with Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin ain't got to guard some of the better guards.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, man. Ravens worked on her 3-point shot. If I was in her corner, if I was like her brother or her boyfriend or someone on her team, I would tell her, Raven, don't worry about dribbling. Don't worry about getting to the basket. Take 100 threes a day.
Yeah.
Because she's going to get more open threes this season than she's ever had in her life. Because you got Caitlin Clark, and then you got your former teammate, Aaliyah Boston. Bro, there's no way teams are going to basically be able, they're going to give her that 3-ball. So if she can shoot about 35, 40% from the 3-point line, which she's a streaky shooter, she's been known to hit some and miss some. But if she can get her 3-point shot together, man, I ain't gonna lie, she could have a really, really good rookie season, and the Fever could be really, really, really good. So yeah, those were the moves that made it very good. And lastly, man, shout out to Fly J, man. She got drafted, but then she got traded to, it was the Storm, right? And she's actually gonna be playing with that girl from Spain. So I was very happy to see Fly J actually go somewhere good because I was worried about her going to an expansion team, and to see her go to the Storm, which is a good franchise. She's going to play with, a top 3 pick, top 4 pick in the draft, and the Storm has some other good players. It's pretty straight. Yeah, so I'm happy, man. This rookie class is pretty decent, and we'll see if it compares to the one from 2 years ago. So going on from the WNBA to the NBA. So we had a couple of NBA playing games, this week, Rose. In fact, we got some tonight. What's your thoughts on the teams that advanced to this last round of the playing games? The teams that won their 7th, 8th matchup, that have solidified that playoff spot. What are you taking away from the playing game so far?
Yeah, so basically what I'm taking away from the playing games that I can't believe Ball took out the best player in the league in the second quarter and didn't even apologize. He said he was going to apologize and reach out to him, but he didn't even reach out to him. How you hurt the best player in the league in the second quarter? He couldn't. In the playoffs, it's a do-or-die game. Do-or-die game. And he gets hurt in the second quarter and doesn't get to finish. Ball should have got thrown out of that game, too, because you can't hurt the best player in the league.
Man, he looked up and said, damn, got 6 points. He said, this nigga might get 83.
Gotta take him out.
Gotta take him out.
I was surprised that the Kawhi Leonard team lost. They was winning for lots of the game, and then the other team came back and won. Shout out to Steph Curry, you know what I'm saying? He brought them boys back. And
yeah, them boys got
that game.
That Golden State, I saw that last 2 minutes. Man, it's so crazy, man. That heart of a championship is real, man. Mm-hmm. Because Steph and Draymond, they the last 2 minutes of that game, they turned the clock back 8 years ago and showed you why they was a dynasty in the 2010s. Because Steph was cooking, but Draymond was playing defense like he did when he was winning Defensive Player of the Year. It was like, okay, yeah, this, because I ain't gonna lie. I told my brother TTK, Man, Clippers beating the shit out of the Warriors.
I'm talking about they was murdering them guys.
Yeah. I did not expect them to win this shit. And now I ain't gonna lie. Man, if you ask me who gonna win tonight between the Warriors and the Suns, I should pick the Suns. But shit, man, like if Steph and Draymond can do what they did, the other night, man, shit, I'll pick them because man, Booker was fucking horrible against the Blazers. And Jalen Green dropped 35.
Yeah.
If you would have told me Jalen Green's gonna drop 35, oh, they gonna win that game, man. And shout out to Jalen Green. Boy, this is the reason why you got traded for KD. Because Rose, no one ever questioned Jalen Green's ability. The problem is they question his consistency.
And his heart.
And his heart. If he played like he did against the Blazers consistently, you wouldn't have made that trade. Even as good as KD is, you would not want to trade somebody who's like 23 years old for somebody who's 35. You wouldn't want to do that. Yeah. But they had to do it because he played so horrible in the playoffs last year. He couldn't really get to the paint and score. It was like, we got to get rid of him, man. So, we'll see what happens tonight, man. But I ain't going to lie. You touched on Melo. Yo, man, I did not know the Hornets was that fun to watch. Like, when I saw what they was doing, the threes they was taking, the shots they was taking, I didn't even know they had Kobe White on their team. Mm-hmm. I was like, Kobe White's on this team? Where the fuck did he come from? I thought he was still with the Bulls. I thought he was, like, middle in Chicago somewhere. Like, they got a lot of a lot of talent in Charlotte. Hey, man, I'm going to be honest with you. If they can win this game against Orlando, which I don't know what the fuck happened to Orlando. People thought it was going to be much better this year than they were, so I'm not going to waste my time on them. But if Charlotte can win this game, man, Detroit better buckle up, man. I think Detroit going to win that series, but Detroit better buckle the fuck up because that Charlotte team is dangerous, bro, because they don't give no fucks, bro. Speaking of Charlotte potentially facing Detroit, the first round of playoffs is going to officially start Saturday. What's some things in the first round of the playoffs you're looking forward to, Rose?
The Legends playing tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Durant and LeBron, they going at it on ABC at 8 o'clock tomorrow. That's what that's the game. That's the game of the night. That's the game I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Sucks that Luka and Reeves is probably not going to play, but to see what LeBron, you know what I'm saying? They say championship pedigree. Durant, you know what I'm saying? Last time he was in the playoffs, he balled out.
I'm not gonna lie. This might be the only, and I told TK this a week ago when the playoff standings were solidified. This might be the only series in the first round I watch every game, just because this is probably the last time we're gonna see KD versus LeBron in the playoffs.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, it is. But there's another series that I'm gonna watch every game too. The Knicks and the Hawks. I'm gonna watch all those games too. I gotta catch those games. And there's another series too that everybody's probably overlooking. But T-Wolves and the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? So I think those
that's probably gonna be the best series in the first round, to be honest. That T-Wolves Nuggets series. Mm-hmm. Especially after what the Minnesota did to the Nuggets a couple of years ago in the playoffs. This is Jokic's chance to get some gate back, but on the flip side, if Ant does what he did again, because I want to say 2 years in a row, where every year Ant has won a playoff series the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But the last 2 seasons, he hasn't just won a playoff series, he's upsetted a team in the playoffs. Because last year, the Lakers was the highest seed in the now, and they beat the Lakers. And the year before, when he beat the Nuggets was the highest seed in them. So if he beat the Nuggets again this year, I don't know, man. This really might just show that Ant is really a top 5 player in the league, and Minnesota really needs to start putting more talent around him, because if he's upsetting teams in the playoffs consistently, he probably can actually beat some of the better teams like a San Antonio, like a OKC, if you gave him the same dogs that those teams got.
Yeah, he's a legend killer, you know what I'm saying? Because he took out Curry one time, took out LeBron, took out Jokic. You know what I'm saying? Can he do it again? I don't think so. But if he does it, oh wow.
Yeah, man. You already touched on that Rockets Lakers series. That Detroit and Charlotte series, potentially. if Detroit faces Orlando, I think Detroit can beat the shit out of them boys. But that Charlotte series, I think Detroit will win that series, but I think it's going to be a much better series than everyone thinks because when you look at the playoffs in the East, it's not too many teams that have a ton of playoff experience, and Detroit is a really young team. Charlotte's a really young team. They match up very well with each other, you know, in terms of Detroit's a defensive-minded team, but they're very centric on Cade Cunningham. And Charlotte, when you actually watch them play, even though Melo's the best player, they don't have just one player that can score. There's 4 people on that team that can actually get dropped 30 on any given night. So I think that can give Detroit a lot of problems. The Spurs Blazers, I think that'll be an interesting series because as much as we are excited for the Spurs in this playoff run, this is going to be that core's first time in the playoffs together. So it's going to be interesting to see how they match up against the Blazers because the Blazers do have Drew Holiday. Debbie Edgley dropped, 41 points in that playing game. And honestly, I'll be honest, I think that made, myself included, a lot of people kind of excited what can happen in that series because if he could potentially play, let's say, close to that level, it could be really interesting. Plus, you have someone like Scoot Henderson, a very young player that the Blazers drafted a couple years ago, was hoping, could take that role of Damian Lillard. And he's had an okay season. He hasn't had a great season, but he's an okay season. So this is a chance for him to do something. But I'll say this. If you're a Blazers fan, if you're playing on that team, that's a young team, you're just happy to get this experience in. Because even though you get swept, them just making the play-in at the 7th seed and facing the Spurs is good for them. And then lastly, you touched on the Hawks and the Knicks series. I'm calling it now, man. I'm going to go Hawks, bro. I'm going to go Hawks in 6, man. I think the Hawks are going to win this series, bro. They're going to close it out in ATL, man. I'm not as high on the Knicks as everyone else is. I just feel like something's missing from that team. And I hate saying this because, if you listen to the pod, I've been one of the biggest Trae Young supporters. But ever since they traded Trae, it's something in the water in Atlanta, man. That team is just playing differently, man. They got a lot of players on that team that have been playing their butts off. Jalen Johnson is great. Dyson Daniels is still playing good defense. Kuminga's up and down, but that was the play that when they traded for him, we was most excited for. But C.J. McCollum, we didn't really touch on C.J. McCollum in the trade, and he's been like a steady player for them. You brought him Nickeil Alexander, who I didn't even know was related to SGA, but I looked at his numbers after you said something about it, and they was talking about him, and he's up for most improved player, because he's been that good for them this year, man. Like, Atlanta just got a lot of talent on that team, man. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that series. Moving on from, the NBA to the NFL. So the NFL, had the DOJ come out and said they was going to investigate them for their TV deals. And to summarize it, basically they feel like what the NFL has done with a lot of the subscription packages they have gotten into, that they've basically tried to price gouge the fans and kind of create a monopoly on it and everything. So they're going to look into that and see it. And we've kind of talked about it over the last year, Rose, especially you, about people needing to have so many different subscriptions just to be able to watch an NFL season. Are you happy that the DOJ is getting involved?
If they're going to do something about it, yeah. So I think they need to take a look at it, but they need to do something about it. Because I doubt they're going to do anything about it. But because the NFL, they said that 87% of their games are on regular TV or air TV. You know what I'm saying? Then they said, of course, we get the teams in your home games, your local games, you go to get those. But that's counted inside that 87%.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, yeah, they need to do something about it because it wasn't like this before. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, they need to do something about it, especially because with the holiday games, they pushing that percent on every holiday. And then on holiday, you're supposed to be spending time with your family and friends, things like that. But it shouldn't be about who got a subscription somewhere so we can watch a game. They should be able to just pull the game up and sit there and watch it with your family. If that's what y'all are promoting and everything else, that's how I feel about it.
I mean, that's what made the NFL the best league for the most part, all the leagues is the NFL has been accessible more than the other leagues have been, to be honest, over the last couple of years. So like it has been frustrating because you needed Prime just so you can watch Thursday Night Football. Now you need ESPN, for Monday Night Football. Peacock, for NBC. Then they want to do the Netflix games. The only man, they do Disney Plus games. Like 1 year you was able to watch Super Bowl on Tubi. The only subscription that they haven't even tried to air a game on, I think, is HBO Max.
Yeah.
But besides that, like they did the Black Friday game on Netflix and Thanksgiving games. I want to say one of the Thanksgiving games, if not two of them, was on Netflix.
One was on Prime.
I think one was on Prime, and then they had a couple on Netflix.
Yeah.
So think about that. You got
it was Christmas.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, then they had the Christmas game on Netflix too. So I said, it's just it gets to a point where it's kind of hard because you do the math. It's like, so I got to keep this subscription, but then I got to keep this subscription too. And man, it gets to the point, man. The NFL is making it hard, unfortunately, man, and they shouldn't, man. So hopefully the DOJ do something, but hope it's not going to be in time for the NFL draft, which is coming up next week. We got a lot of players that's going to come into this league in less than a week, Rose, and going to change the looks of a lot of franchises. What are some plays that you're looking forward to seeing in this draft?
Ruben Bain, I'm looking forward to see where he's going to go. Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, and Ty Simpson, and Carson Beck. Those are the players that I'm looking forward to see where they're going. There's a lot of names on that's going to be drafted that I have no idea who they are. People say they're good, but I don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? I know the offensive tackle from Miami. That's a big old guy. I know him. But there's some offensive tackles like the guy from Utah, Fano. I don't really know him. You know what I'm saying? I know Proctor, that big boy from Alabama. I know him.
Yeah, a lot of people are high on him.
Yeah, I know him. But McCoy, the cornerback from Tennessee, I watched Tennessee play. I don't know him.
Yeah, man. I looked at the mock draft and it was a lot of players that did not jump off that name didn't pop like that, and then there was players that like I know him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of this do seem like a lackluster draft in terms of the names. But I will say this though, I looked at the mock draft for Thomas Shea and Mel Kiper, and I would love to see Love go to the Cardinals only because they're supposed to take Aubrey Reese, the outside linebacker, and he could be good for them. But to me, I think Jeremiah Love would be a better fit for them, and this is the reason why I was that. You already got Trey McBride, you already got Marvin Harrison Jr., and you already got Wilson, who has had a remarkable season at receiver. Solidify your offensive talent and get Jeremiah Love a transcendent running back, because guess what's going to happen next year? You're going to draft a quarterback. Mm-hmm. So when you draft the quarterback next year, guess what? Now he's going to walk into a team that has Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, and Jeremiah Love, and guess what? You ain't got no excuse for that quarterback not to succeed, because that's going to be too much talent around that quarterback. Instead of you trying to get a defensive player that, let's just be quite frankly, that defense is going to be bad. I don't think Aubrey Reese is going to take a defense that bad and make it whatever. Like he needs to go to another team where there's probably some pieces around him. The Commanders, man, I want to see them draft Cornell Tate, man. Hey man, Jaden Daniels needs someone to throw the ball to, man. Like Debo ain't it. Terry McLaurin is cool, but I don't know. Was he just hurt last year? Like he just didn't seem the same.
Yeah, he was hurt most of the year.
They're gonna get Cornell Tate. That's to me the best receiver in the draft. So get Jaden Daniels, your young player, your young quarterback, a target that he can throw the ball to, and you can try to be successful with him. Baltimore. I know they want them to get defense, man, but you got a defensive-minded head coach. I feel like in my opinion, Rose, I feel like most defensive-minded head coaches, if I'm being real, if they really good at their job, they can make do with whatever players they got. And they got some decent players on that defense.
Should be able to do that.
Denzel Boston, the receiver from TCU, he's a big body receiver. He's like 6'3", he's 6'5". You know, Lamar don't have that. Mm-hmm. He don't have just because all the receivers is like 6 feet tall, 5'9". I think Zay Flowers is 5'8", 5'9". Man, get Lamar a big body because you just lost Likely, who was probably your best red zone target. So get Denzel Boston. So now Lamar, when you get in the red zone, it's easy on him. It's not all on Lamar to be perfect. Because when you got someone that big, guess what? You ain't got to place that ball perfect. You just got to put it in the area. Mm-hmm. And then the Browns, you mentioned Proctor earlier. I think the Browns should trade back in the draft. And they're probably one of two teams I would say trade back. It would be them and the Cardinals. Because the Browns just need so much help. Trade back. And if they trade back, they should be able to get Proctor because he's projected to go in the teens. And that's going to help out Shedeur because, man, that man was running for his life last year, man. And hopefully when you trade back, you get some other picks. I'll say this, looking at this mock draft, this draft is deep at the receiver position. So, like, you're going to have receivers that fall late in the first round, in the second round. Man, pick up a receiver, get rid of Jerry Jeudy, and give him some talent. You know, now here's some plays that I would love to see, you know, from what Mark McShay had. Man, I think Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, would be great with Cincinnati because they need help on defense. If you do go defense for the Ravens, and the reason why I had them taking Boston, because in Mel Kiper, this play goes too early. If this defensive player falls to you, then you take him over Boston, Ruben Bang. Like that, the defensive end from Miami, if he falls to Baltimore, yes. Because to me, the two biggest needs that when I watched Baltimore play was they need a red zone threat or you just need somebody to get after the quarterback, bro. And you just signed Trey Hendrickson. So don't get Ruben Bang on the other end. And now guess what? We can both bookends be good to go. We can go chase the quarterback. And then lastly, the Saints trade back. Because they're in the same situation. Right now, they projected to get Albert Reese. And I just feel like, man, your team ain't ready for a player like that. Trade back, get more talent, and continue to build that roster, man. Like, those are some of the things that I would look forward to in the draft for me personally.
Yeah, so this might be a draft that you don't normally see, you know what I'm saying? Because it might only be one quarterback taken in the first round. So the other drafts where it was only one quarterback taken was 2022. You know, they took Kenny Pickett. He was the only quarterback taken. And look at him. Oh, my goodness.
Man, he went in the teams.
but it was in the first round. He was the only one, too.
I'm not going to lie. I think it's more likely than not that Ty Simpson goes in the first round.
And before that, it was 2013. It was E.J. Manuel. And then before that, it was 1997. It was Jim Druckenmiller.
See,
and so it's not looking. If Fernando Mendoza is the only quarterback taken in the first round, that's not a good sign.
And I think that's the difference between this draft and those drafts is the first quarterback got taken in those drafts, like right in the teens, whereas Mendoza's getting taken number one. So like you got the whole. Like, I just feel like there's going to be some team in the late 20s that's going to draft Ty Simpson or a team that's going to trade back into the first round and get him. You know, I'll be surprised if he goes second round. Mm-hmm. But let me make this clear. I don't think he's a first round quarterback, but I'll be surprised if he doesn't go in the first round.
Yeah, because I want to say the quarterbacks, we got Mendoza, Ty Simpson.
That's it, bro. At
the beginning of the year, they were talking about Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller. Ain't nobody talked about him all year, but now since his draft, he's 6'5".
Is Carson Beck in this draft?
Yeah, and Carson Beck, he's the last one. So Drew Aller, he's 6'5". He played Penn State. He's 220, 228. Like, ain't nobody talked about him all year. But it's like we know about Carson Beck, but he didn't improve himself. If they would have beat Indiana and won the chip, then somebody was probably gonna take him in the first round. Or in the second round, but he's probably all these quarterbacks are probably third round players.
And you know what's crazy? Atlanta ain't got no first round pick, man.
No.
Because we traded it for a nigga that's probably not gonna play in the NFL again.
Yeah.
Boy, that crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Boy, that crazy.
And we talked about like, yeah, but if he works out, we don't need no pick next year.
And that's the sad part. If off the season he had last year, if he did not do that dumb shit, I'm gonna be honest.
We don't need a pick.
Looking at this draft, I'd rather have him than some of the players who will be picking. I think we picked like it's 12 or 13. I'd rather have James Pitts Jr. Because he had 10 sacks as a rookie, but nigga, golly, bro. Like, fuck, we fucked up, bro. I know, bro. I know we just fucked up, bro. We fucked up.
Boy, that ain't the most Atlanta Falcons thing.
I know.
This the most Atlanta. They allowing it.
This gonna sound fucked up, but this one of the few times, man, I'm just like, I'm praying and hoping, man, that nigga being rich get him out of trouble and he just get on probation for 10 years.
Yeah, man.
I know I shouldn't say that shit, bro. But the Atlanta Falcons fan in me just won't allow me to just let us lose this nigga.
Yeah, but I try to tell y'all dudes all the time, man. It's undefeated. Just Donkey Kong a couple of times and move on.
True. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Yeah, my final thoughts. I know we was talking about football. So the Ted Ginn, junior, head coach in the UFL. So that was something I just found out today, and we talked about how the NFL should probably let some of these position coaches go to this league and be head coaches so they can get the feel of it, so they can't use that excuse no more. And I think that would be a wonderful idea. So if they can do that, that would be awesome. But not even the NFL would allow them to do it, but they should just probably take that opportunity to do it, even though they might lose some money, but it might come back on them tenfold.
Yeah, man. A day or two ago, on the It Is What It Is podcast, wrestler Jay Uso got into it with Cameron, the rapper, and that just alerted some people who probably wasn't aware. Hey, man, this weekend is WrestleMania, man, and we got a nice little card brewing for WrestleMania. John Cena retired last year, and guess what? He's coming back to be the host of WrestleMania. So that's gonna be exciting to see. Some of the best matches we're gonna have is Brock Lesnar's facing, Obi Femi, which is, if you watch the card, John Cena's last card, he was the big black dude, the African dude that a lot of people is excited about. A lot of people think he's the next big thing in pro wrestling. In the women's side of it, we got Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Valkyrie, for the women's world title. A lot of people are excited about that match. That's probably should, in my opinion, I would have that main event night too, because that's been one of the best storylines, in this WrestleMania so far. Jade Cargill, she's the women's WWE champion. She's been on doing the podcast circuit. She was on the Joe Budden podcast, promoting her WrestleMania feud with Rhea Ripley, who's probably the biggest star in the women's division right now. And a lot of people's excited to see Jade face her. These are two women that's like huge, big, athletically built, probably the most dominant, imposing women. So this is going to be a match that should be hard hitting. Then we have AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is probably the biggest name in the women's division right now going in professional wrestling. And then AJ Lee, over 10 years ago, she was the biggest star in wrestling and she left. So this is kind of like, just trying to see the old guard versus the new guard. And then the two main matches that's got everyone talking, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Man, they've known each other for over 20 years. Randy Orton had Cody Rhodes in his little, stable back in the day. They're friends in real life. This feud's been very good. They've allowed a couple celebrities to enter it. Jelly Roll has kind of been in and out the feud, and Pat McAfee has been in and out the feud. And the biggest match of the weekend is going to be the main event of night 2 on Sunday night of WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, versus CM Punk. And they've been cooking the whole time. And this feud is based off of two things: hate and jealousy. Both these individuals hate each other, and because they're jealous of each other, because they respect what the other one has, because they don't have it. And that storyline in wrestling, man. So, you know, if you get some time, watch WrestleMania this weekend, man. It should be a great card. Shout out to the mama.
Gotta.
Mr. DJ Rose, Vert Keezy, and C's, welcome you to the No More Black Tears podcast.
Black tears that's heaven sent. Barack the first black president. I love my black skin. I love walking in black excellence. Black power, let's represent. All black, that's evident. I'm sure MLK and Malcolm X both didn't die for the hell of it. Strap a seatbelt, go and settle land. What makes you think that we would sell our land? We wouldn't sell our land. What makes you think that we would go ahead and try to sell out then? No more black tears, black on black kids. Love us as is, love with passion. Paying black bills, learning black skills, making black meals. Black is backing. Big shout out to Fred Hampton. I'm black and proud like I'm James Brown, but I ain't doing no acting. My people here from the motherland. This podcast now active.